As you revel in the majesty of Ibrox, here too you will learn about Rangers, one of the oldest and greatest football clubs in the world. It all began in 1872 with a chance encounter with the new association game of football by four young men from the Highlands. They were inspired to form their own team, one they would call the Rangers. The club's formative years were spent on Glasgow Green, Burnbank, then Kinning Park, before in 1887 they finally found their way to the first Ibrox Park, located just 100 metres east of where we are today. When the new stadium was constructed here in 1899 at a cost of £20,000, it proved to be much more than a football ground. It served the local community, but had much wider appeal as a venue for cycling, athletics, and the famous Ibrox sports. World records were established here, and many Olympic track stars graced the Ibrox cinder track. Few were more notable than Chariot of Fire, Eric Liddell. Many of the club's early success can be attributed to William Wilton, who was our first manager. A great administrator, he also orchestrated the construction of new Ibrox Park at our present location. He reigned supreme for 21 years, but his tenure sadly ended in a tragic boating accident just a few days after sealing his 10th league title. By then, however, he had laid the foundations for his successor, the legendary Bill Struth. Struth would manage the club for 34 years, winning a remarkable 30 major trophies. Indeed, that impressive haul excluded the war years, over which football was declared unofficial. But Rangers won every title to be the first team to complete 9 successive championships. Besides bringing trophies, Wilton and Struth inspired the great Rangers traditions of respect, dignity, and class, which even today everyone at the club strives to attain. It was Struth who once said, "To be a Ranger is to sense the sacred trust of upholding all that such a name means in this shrine of football." He went on, "No true Ranger has ever failed in the tradition set." Besides being one of football's finest clubs, Rangers has a huge fan base. Throughout its history, its incredible allure has seen massive crowds gather at Ibrox each match day. And in 1939, a record attendance of 118,567 people assembled here for the New Year derby against Celtic. The fans have revelled in the expansive terraces of Ibrox Park, cheering their heroes. But the tunes of glory have also been quelled in the past by the dark shadows of 2 tragic events. In 1902, a collapse of the timber terrace during the Scotland-England International saw 25 lost and hundreds injured. The clouds descended once again in 1971, when 66 died in the tragedy of Stairway 13, in what would be known as the Ibrox disaster. That tragedy stimulated a radical redesign of the stadium, with manager Willie Waddell vowing to transform the ground to one of comfort and safety for all. Eventually, progressive improvements and additions saw Ibrox become one of the first all-seater stadia with a capacity of over 51,000. At its heart is the historic Bill Struth main stand, opened on the 1st of January 1929. A Grade B listed building, it provides an impressive and iconic facade to the stadium and is the very embodiment of the high standards and class upon which the foundations of this great club were built. At the time, some suggested that the stand was too ostentatious for a football ground. Struth responded that it would remain long after others had gone, and how prophetic these words have been. Ibrox has seen the pageantry of royal visits and hosted showbiz stars like Harry Styles, Elton John, and Billy Joel, not forgetting old Blue Eyes himself, Frank Sinatra. In December 1999, Rangers celebrated the centenary of the ground when players from across the ages took a bow. Today, it is acknowledged to be one of the finest sporting arenas in Europe and considered by one prominent publication to be the best in Britain. The stands, with their fine hospitality suites, gaze down upon the Ibrox pitch, which is a true field of dreams. On the lush Ibrox turf, Rangers have gone toe-to-toe with the best. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Manchester United, AC Milan, Ajax, and Bayern Munich. Celebrations are never far away from the field, and out there, many victorious Rangers captains have raised aloft gleaming trophies, adorned in red, white, and blue ribbons. These great successes ferment in the hearts of the fans, consolidating the devotion to this, their club, building wonderful memories to be savoured. They sing, "There's not a team like the Glasgow Rangers," and who would doubt them? How they celebrated in 2021, when the team, led by Steven Gerrard, lifted a record 55th league championship, ending a decade of despair and leaving Celtic's quest for a 10th successive title in tatters. If that victory was one of the most memorable, Europe provides a platform for perhaps the club's greatest success. In 1972, Rangers brought the European Cup Winners' Cup back to Ibrox after a thrilling win in Barcelona. It was third time lucky for Rangers, having lost out in the final in 1961 and 1967. Indeed, the club has appeared in no less than 5 European finals. The fans always follow, and in 2008, it is estimated that 200,000 descended on Manchester to take in the club's UEFA Cup final contest with Zenit St. Petersburg. And once again, in 2022, thousands arrived in Seville from all round the world to see Rangers face Eintracht Frankfurt in the UEFA Europa League final. A cruel defeat on penalties after extra time could not deflect from the club's great pride in a wonderful European campaign. Just a few days later, the team set that disappointment aside to turn in a wonderful performance to win the Scottish Cup with a 2-0 victory over Hearts, again over extra time. When the dust settled, the cup was returned to the wonderful trophy room, the jewel in the Ibrox crown, displaying the finest crystal, silverware and gifts from around the world. These successes inspire a new generation of stars. They are reared in the club's football academy, where youngsters participate at varying age levels, culminating in graduating to the B team. They compete in domestic and European league and cup competitions and dream of the day when they too can step into the first team squad, as many have done before them. As Rangers Football Club strides forward to embrace new challenges, it continues to evolve and adapt to the modern age and the changing face of society and football. It has taken great pride in its Everyone, Anyone campaign for diversity and inclusion. Here, people from all backgrounds, cultures and communities can unite under the one banner that says, "We are Rangers." The club also embraced the rising popularity of women's football, and in 2019, Rangers became the first in Scotland to create a women's professional football club. Just 3 years later, they went on to win the Scottish Women's Premier League title for the first time, and in 2022 started on a new trophy trail with the Scottish Women's Premier League Cup. While it looks to the future, Rangers is ever mindful of its heritage, and in 2022 the club celebrated its 150th anniversary with events and functions up and down the country. Some footballing legends were welcomed for a match as part of the celebration, and the club was honoured by the UK government with a reception at Dover House, London. A civic reception was also held at the City Chambers by Glasgow City Council, an evening of reflections on this special club with a wonderful history. With 150 years behind us, we now look ahead to a new era with enthusiasm and ambition as we cast an eye to those four young pioneers who had a dream in 1872. There is a true sense of pride that their dream and spirit lives on. We cordially welcome you into our home today and hope that you enjoy your visit to Ibrox, a special stadium that is at the heart of this great club.
Well, did you enjoy it?